What's good? What's good, everybody? Uh, Make sure to like, subscribe as you tune in and you check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to talk about how LeBron James fans, man, are really upset um, with Jalen Rose. Jalen Rose just recently made a video where he was in his car driving. He basically was talking about how his top three two-way basketball players, right? And I was thinking before I listened to what he was saying because I actually heard this on the basketball show, right? So shout out to the basketball show. So I'm thinking, I was like, wow, I know Mike and Kobe. I know it's gonna be Mike and Kobe, like the best two-way basketball players. Then I was thinking, I was like, who was another exceptionally great two-way basketball player? And I remember seeing a video of Michael Jordan where Michael Jordan said that he gave Hakeem Olajuwon his flowers for being a great two-way basketball player. It's like can dominate at both ends of the court. And I was like, there you go. It got to be Hakeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant, right? So sure enough, I go and I listen to the video or I watched the video of what he said, and sure enough, it was those three guys, right? And so I wasn't surprised after that. Now, LeBron James fans don't appreciate that. You know, they every time you omit LeBron James from a conversation when you talk about the best this and the best that, you know, his friends come, you know, his fans come at you, right? But for LeBron James fans, man, y'all gotta realize, man, LeBron James was not at any point in time in his career like a great defender. Maybe for not even for a full season. He played great here and there and had some great plays here and there. But man, to be a guy who was like locking somebody down on a night in and night out basis like these guys did, nobody ever saw LeBron James or put LeBron James in that type of conversation. Right. So let me play what Jalen Rose had to say about these three guys, and then I'm gonna come back and give some of my input.
I'll never forget we was playing against the Rockets one time. I think this is my first or second year. And Hakeem Olajuwon, who I believe, along with Michael Jordan, are the only two people I've ever been on the court with, and Kobe. Those three. That I felt like were the best player on both ends at all times. That could play above the rim, around the rim, in the paint, but also just attack you with all of their moves and their skills.
So you saw
Just check that out. So that statement for those guys, like you have take somebody like Dennis Rodman who dominated at the defensive end, right? That in itself is a monumental task. But then when you think about somebody, because to dominate on the defensive end is about want to, effort, passion, and you just got to have a different kind of attitude, right? And most guys who can score don't really do at the offensive end, put that type of effort in. Number one is just you got to be in excellent shape to do that, to be able to play at both ends, which all of these guys were excellent. Then on top of that, you got to be a dog. You got to be a dog, man, to want to dominate all over the court like that. That is crazy. People don't really understand and can't really get an idea of how tough it is to be dominant at both ends of the court like that, man. Like I said, you got to be a dog. And these three guys that he mentioned, they really raised the bar when it comes to being two-way basketball players and dominating at both ends. And that's what, a lot of guys, that's what guys shoot for, but not a lot of guys are able to accomplish that. I know that somebody I think that might be able to accomplish that is the Victor Wembanyama, because he's a dog at that defensive end, and on the offensive end, he's unstoppable. But I don't know right now, and I don't know right now who else in the league I would say right now who can really trend and go that way as far as wanting to be dominant at both ends like that. Right now, I think it's Victor Wembanyama. I know Jalen Brown prides himself on being an excellent two-way basketball player, so he could be in the conversation, right? But for year in and year out, man, these are the three guys, in the NBA that you always heard about, man, on the defensive, all defensive teams, and tops in the league and scoring. These are the guys who you always heard about. And for Michael Jordan to give Hakeem Olajuwon his flowers, man, that is I'm sure that's like a big, like when your peers or somebody like Michael Jordan appreciate what you bring to the table, then you gotta be putting that work in. You gotta be the real deal. When Mike say you are, like you that dude. When Mike says that about you, then you that real deal, right? And so, like I said, LeBron James fans, man, I don't know why y'all upset. Y'all really, y'all don't see that kind of effort out of LeBron James. And I'm not even talking about now that LeBron James is, in his 40s. I'm talking about like any point in time throughout like LeBron James' career. If y'all can show me any high any highlight of LeBron James just locking somebody down, not that chase down block that LeBron James did against Andre Iguodala. I want to see like LeBron James just in his defensive stance like Kobe was against him, in his defensive stance like Kobe was against him, and just like dogging somebody off from like one side of the court to the other, just denying him access to the rim, preventing him from being able to pass the ball, just smothering him. Like not one, and this guy been in the league for 23 years, and he don't have a play like that. Whereas though that's how Mike and Kobe got down. That's how Hakeem Olajuwon got down. They just, Hakeem Olajuwon just dominated in that paint on the defense. Wasn't no layups. He wasn't giving up no layups. He wasn't allowing you to get no position. He and blocking shots and everything. He just was rebounding. He was doing everything. Very intelligent basketball player. Hakeem Olajuwon was, man. These guys played. They played basketball up here as well as with their physical ability. As a matter of fact, they played more so up here than anything, because I don't think that any of these guys, Michael Jordan, or Kobe Bryant, I don't know about Hakeem a lot, but I don't know if any of these guys was like the most physically gifted basketball players to play. Like they say that Kobe was more physically gifted than Mike, right? Mike was a very graceful basketball player, but remember, Mike was 6'6", Kobe was 6'7", Hakeem Olajuwon was 7 feet. So, I just think that it just basically boiled down to their mentality and their approach to the game. And again, when you compare LeBron James' mentality and you compare LeBron James' approach to the game, it's just hit a different level than all of those guys, all three of those guys. So for LeBron James fans to be upset because he didn't get honorable mention or he didn't get slid into the conversation some kind of way, it's just that these guys just raised the bar. And so when you look at, even if you look at the history of basketball, man, it's just not a whole lot of guys who going, even guys who love basketball, just really not going to be able to perform like that at both ends and be dominant. Whereas though your best defensive player is also your best offensive player. That is crazy. So if any of these guys had an off shooting night, which wasn't often for any of them, then they can go down the other end and and defend and make sure that you didn't get your thing off at the other end, because they was going to play you like that. So I agree with Jalen Rose. I wasn't surprised at any of his choices. Like I said, even before I played the audio or I played the video of what Jalen Rose was going to say, I figured I was like, yeah, it got to be Hakeem Olajuwon. It got to be him. And sure enough, that's who it was. But I knew it wasn't going to be LeBron James. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'm going to check y'all out in the next video. Peace.